Hey there, and welcome one and all to another Toonkind FPS game. I am Morski, but you're free to call me Morski, and I'm joined by my awesome friends. Do you wanna say hi?
Hello, I'm Mira, and I will be playing Sammy Jax this morning.
And on that note, I'm playing Resident Little Wizard, Hugh Script.
Who we love very much.
Hey, we love Sammy too as well. They're both great, thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes. We are both filled with love for each other's characters, and it is very great.
Yes, they're so good.
Uh,
And it's like, yeah, I guess on that note, so Hugh's vibing. You have something planned though, don't you?
Basically, just hey Hugh, how have you been doing since a grave situation?
Hugh sure has been doing. Um, Thankfully, he has actually managed to talk to some people.
Mm-hmm.
He has been vibing with Marge. He talked to Gregory about what happened, and he got some very good advice from a lovely lady called Rosetta.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's good.
it's like he's actually doing pretty okay after that.
Mm-hmm.
He's let himself rest a bit. He had some nice encounters, and for now, I think he's actually out on a walk.
Mm-hmm. All right then, Hugh, roll me perception, please.
Cool. Let's see how that goes. That's a 9.
Okay, with a 9, you're just walking, you're kind of just minding your own business. Your head's probably in the clouds, but you
Hugh
do.
is planning on what he's going to surprise March with when he comes home.
Mhm. And
That's a very important thing to plan.
oh, I
And
hold him
also,
soft.
and Hugh is also planning on surprising Decimal with something nice. He doesn't know yet,
Hmm.
but like maybe chocolate chip cookies. He knows Decimal likes those, so
Hmm.
very
Uh,
important planning.
I hold Hugh so soft. But even with your 9, you are able to notice when sound around you just disappears. And you kind of blink, 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 and go, wait, where am I? And as you look up ahead in front of you is the theater that is very familiar to you because Sammy has taken you and March to the garden that he usually frequents, and yeah, you're right there. It's very quiet.
Hugh is like, oh whoops. Well, I mean, it would be nice to visit anyway. So Hugh's like, he would go to the place. I think he'd like ask quietly, I'm just coming in, like, hi, because
Mm-hmm.
he has the distinct vibe that this is Prismatone's domain, so he better be polite.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she appreciates that. Like she always appreciates it when someone actually acknowledges her and stuff. And it's interesting. The silence seems to lessen a bit for a moment. Just for a moment. Like it's almost like there wants to be ambient noise, but that feeling kind of goes away as you slip into the garden and sound returns in full force. You can hear the bird song in the trees, the rustle of the leaves in the trees as a nice kind of warm breeze as spring is slowly starting to ease away into summer kind of floats through the air. And roll me another perception check, real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can he roll perception, cause he'd want to look around a little.
Okay, with a
That's a
21,
21!
with a dirty 21, you see the roses that are growing in the trees. They look really healthy. They are glowing. nice and ambiently. You would see them a lot better in the dark, you realize, but there is that soft ambient glow around them that you can still see in the daytime. There's the nice warm trickle of the fountain that is dedicated to Prismatown and depicts Prismatown over farther across away from the theater. And there is like just a huge array of flowers, like a lot more flowers than when you first visited the garden. It's very obvious that Sammy has been very, very busy. But there's something off in the garden. It takes a moment for you to realize what, because you kind of turn your head and you are looking down at the ground because you're expecting Sammy to be gardening, because that's often what he is doing when he is in the garden.
Yeah, would you say that he would have been here before as well?
Mm-hmm. Like
Because
yeah.
if he was, and he would have seen Sammy gardening like whenever he'd visit before,
Mm-hmm.
he'd
Mm-hmm.
think that maybe this is happening again.
Yep. Yeah, he's probably honestly been to Sammy's garden one or a few times, just wandering like in the beginning of this FPS.
Yeah, like Hugh goes and walks every now and again, and sometimes Plot finds him, and sometimes he wanders over to where his friends are, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's plot in its own right, honestly. Character-based episodes.
I mean, Hugh isn't like trying to find chaos or trouble, but it just kind of happens. What
Mm-hmm,
can I say?
mm-hmm. It's the uh, curse of being a protagonist. Um, and as you are looking, you notice that Sammy's not gardening. He's actually standing in front of the Prismatone statue, and his hood is up, and his back is kind of to you and facing the statue. And with that dirty 21, you can actually hear him talking to the statue. He's not being quiet. He doesn't really expect anyone to be here, so why would he be quiet, especially when he's just talking to Prismatone? And you kind of just hear him say, "It's getting... Mom, I have to get out of here. It's getting too much. There's too many memories here. Am I doing the right thing?"
I think he was gonna try to get closer, and I'm thinking, do I make him roll? Well, I guess his strength and his no, not his stealth and his dex are the same, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see whether he trips while trying to get closer.
With a
He does
dirty
not.
20, uh,
Hugh is just trying to get closer, but also he's trying not to disturb things and hmm accidental eavesdropping. Well, still he should get closer regardless and let Sammy know he is here.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and Sammy just kind of continues, and it's kind of obvious that he's mainly just talking to Prismatone. He understands that she's most likely not... How do I phrase this? Since it's not nighttime, she's less likely to actually appear and give him advice. But he's his shoulders are loose. His tone is worried, yes, but it's very obvious he's kind of trying to vent slash just
He's
talking his
like,
mind.
yeah, pretty much. He knows Prisma is listening, doesn't he?
Yep, he does know she's listening. It's just he doesn't know if she's actually wanting to talk back at this time, and he's fine with that. He knows
Yeah.
that she's listening. Like, it's kind of like, honestly, like with the earlier 21 in perception, you kind of notice, like, you kind of realize that it's honestly his form of prayer, just talking to her.
And that's fair. It's Hugh. I think Hugh's opinion right now is: should I just sit on a side and let him speak, or should I just come and say hi? You just kind of see the. I have this image. We are like looking at Sammy, so we see Sammy's and Hugh's expression.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy does not realize Hugh is there, and Hugh has like thinking face,
Mm-hmm.
dot above his head. And I'm gonna roll another stealth because Hugh's gonna sit down and actually let Sammy talk. That's a 21. Holy bleep, Hugh.
The dice are wanting Hugh to be nice and sneaky. Okay, basically, what happens
Oh my
is I
goodness.
feel like Hugh basically kind of just takes a seat at one of the trees, kind of to the side of the fountain, and it's slightly behind Sammy, so Sammy doesn't notice at all.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going to roll a con save to see whether Hugh falls asleep. Do you think he falls asleep with a 10? He's like, he is sitting there, it's warm. Maybe just like he's in that in between kind of.
Yeah,
He's asleep, but he's still somewhat aware.
Yeah. He's like, you're like, kind of like the words are washing over Hugh. But I don't know if Hugh's gonna sit up and notice this next part because Sammy is continuing, and he is just after. I can't stay here, Mom. Sinclair's still out there, and maybe it's better if I left, and no one would get hurt that way.
With that, I think he would like jump up from being asleep. So I'm not even gonna roll stealth because of how this has been going. Hugh's just going to be super sneaky. So instead, Hugh jumps up, and you can hear something bonk into a branch, probably, and you hear Hugh squeak.
And just gonna roll a thing to see if.
Notice this.
Well, no, actually, okay, so Sammy doesn't jump 10 feet in the air. But he does startle. And like he just kind of whirls around, his shading is like purple for a brief moment, and then it just kind of like goes like I'm trying to think of what color. Shoot. What color would you turn, Sammy? You're not giving me the color.
Is this like for surprise? Wasn't that light blue or?
Light blue is surprise, yes. Honestly, it would fade from a purple to a sky blue. As he just kind of blinks at not Morski, at Hugh.
Morski Toonkind real, I guess. Hugh, who's like sitting, his hands on his head, just like, ow. So I guess the sky blue is kind of fitting considering who Sammy is looking at, but yeah, Hugh looks at you, Sammy, and he's like hair fluffed up. And just a little bit pink because ow.
Also, Hugh, you notice this right off the bat. Sammy's got his mask up, and it's honestly really weird to see him with both his mask and his hood up in Prismatone's garden, because you've hung out with Sammy enough in Prismatone's garden to know Sammy doesn't usually wear his hood or his mask when he's in an enclosed space like this.
Yeah, considering what you just heard, he's actually thinking that Sammy is planning on going soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, potentially as soon as he finished this kind of, this sort of prayer, this talking to his rainbow mom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Hugh is like, oh, okay, so I guess Sammy's going. Does Sammy want to roll an insight on Hugh to see whether Sammy picks up that Hugh has Sammy does not pick up any of this. You only
Nope.
see a confused and startled dork in your garden.
Does have Hugh roll insight on Sammy too?
Cool. Cool. That's a d20 plus 2. And another d20 plus 2 because I got this with advantage. So we'll see. Okay, so we'll take that 21. Holy bleep.
with that
Holy bleep.
dirty 21, you can see the it's interesting. Even when Sammy had his shading had turned purple and then sky blue, there was the strange kind of shading effect of there was this line of blue, like darker blue, through both of them. And as the sky blue fades, that dark blue stays on Sammy's shading, and he's even without the mask showing his face. Hugh, this is one of your friends. You can tell that Sammy's actually really sad with that unnatural 21.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say dark blue. Hugh has the very distinct feeling that that's for sadness. And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think he's going to, get into a crouch and attempt to get up. And,
Sammy's gonna help extend his hand to help Hugh up, and just kind of like, Hugh, are you okay? I didn't hear you come in.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised he didn't, but I guess you were busy talking. And you know what? Hugh takes that hand, and he's going to go into a hug, or just slowly, so that if Sammy does not want one, Sammy can move from it. But Hugh's gonna attempt to give you a hug now.
He's not gonna move from it, but like he kind of stiffens under it. Like he doesn't hug you back as easily as he normally would.
Yeah, and when Hugh hugs Sammy, he's gonna say, "So, you're planning on traveling, right? Will you be able to send letters?"
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be sending letters to everybody. I'm not planning on going dark. Gil would skin me alive if I tried.
Hugh nods resolutely at this. Hugh's opinion of Gil has risen.
uh,
It's like, do you Hugh has a look of good, and yeah, I wouldn't skin you alive, but I would smack you on the head if you tried to do that.
and with that,
Like Gil, Gil is the one who Gil is the one to do that. I'll just bonk you over the head lightly.
uh, um, I'm just gonna take that dirty 21 on insight and just run with it. Uh,
Yeah.
you notice that as Sammy says Gil's name, the blue on Sammy's shading gets darker, and Sammy just kind of looks very downtrodden as he's thinking about Gil.
Yeah, it's another dot 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 above Hugh's head, and hey, so I'm guessing a lot has happened recently to you. Do you want to talk?
It, it, I,
And there was everything after what happened with March's past. How are you holding up after all of that?
I'm
And Hugh is going to give Sammy a searching look, and
okay. Let's just really quickly make a roll here.
that's ominous. So that was a 3. What was that for?
I'll tell you in a minute. Okay, so what happens is Sammy kind of looks down at you, Hugh, and he's just like, I'm fine. It's a lie. He's not fine. It is incredibly, incredibly blatant that he is not fine.
I'm considering what to make Hugh roll now. It's like, well, first of all, Hugh is giving you the patented look of I am pressing X to doubt. And I think Hugh's gonna attempt to roll a persuasion to get this friend to also sit down and actually talk. No, only an 8.
Well, the thing is, considering the fact that, like, Sammy is so bad at lying, he honestly probably, like, looks down at you, Hugh, and you're staring at him very unimpressed, and he just folds like a house of cards.
That's really good. That's really good, because, like, I'm also, it's like, Hugh trying to persuade, he probably opens his mouth to, like, go, please, but maybe before then, Sammy's just like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, like, basically just like, honestly, I feel like Hugh's persuasion was the puppy dog eyes.
Hugh would, like, I'll be honest, if Hugh got a decent persuasion, Hugh would have used puppy dog eyes.
Like, he was about to go into, like, the puppy dog eyes, the face was starting to turn into the pout, and just Sammy was already folding.
Yes! Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's an 8 instead of a higher number. Just, it just happened
It
so
didn't
quickly.
quite. Yeah, like, Hugh didn't actually manage to do the puppy dog eyes, but, like, if Gregory and Decimal can fold to it, Sammy
Yep,
will
yep,
also fold
yep,
to it.
yep. And you just, like, there's, like, just the... and Sammy just kind of looks back at Prismatoad's statue, and he's just like, he honestly kind of like visibly makes the face like he's pouting because he feels like his mom has something to do with this.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he wasn't exactly looking where he was going for all you know.
Yep. And Sammy just kind of like jerks his head back to the statue or to the fountain where there's a nice little edge where you both can sit. And he just kind of shuffles both of you to the fountain, and he sits down and he's just kind of like pat, because he doesn't want to be standing to be talking about all of this.
And that's entirely fair. Hugh comes on over and sits beside him.
Mm-hmm. And
I get. I have this slightly funny image. I don't know how tall that edge is, but I'm like imagining Sammy sitting with his feet on the ground. But he's small enough that like he can like sit on fine, but his feet aren't touching the ground.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, and Sammy kind of actually pulls up his knees, like his legs up to his chest, and just kind of wraps his arms around it, and he just kind of plonks his chin right in between his knees, and he just
I
kind of.
think I think that he's like going to move himself closer, so he's leaning against Sammy.
Sammy appreciates that, and he just kind of. Well, first off, Gil and I aren't really nemesis anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, he broke up with me and Jeff.
oh, I'm sorry.
It, it was the relationship was going too fast, and I'm Hugh. To be honest, I'm not in a good place for a relationship.
He nods and he's gonna attempt to hug you from the side.
Sammy doesn't move away. He kind of like leans a little bit into the hug and stuff, but he's ultimately still hugging his knees and stuff. And he just kind of is like, I ended up helping Gil with his sister, and she Hugh, she carved out her soul and used it to fuel her own magic, and it was bad. It was really, really
Oh.
bad.
I'm gonna say when Sammy mentions carving out her soul to use magic, Hugh looks a little bit ill at that because hello magic user and that sounds
Mm-hmm.
bad and I'm gonna roll Arcana. Ooh,
Oh,
nat one.
that one. Yeah, you don't know.
I think that makes sense though, cause like whatever that magic is, it sounds bad. You
Yeah.
personally would have stayed clear of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also it was a custom made spell. So
Oh yikes!
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a custom made spell. So Hugh wouldn't have found this spell on his
Or
own.
he probably wouldn't have ever heard of it either, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just bad vibes, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Hugh steers clear of that stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But go ahead and roll religion for me real quick.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Let's go. Religion is a +4.
Okay, 13. It's
What does
enough.
that get us?
Uh,
Cool.
you're looking up at Sammy, and you know that his shading is this dark purple blue, and you look at Sammy for a moment, and then you kind of look up at Prismatone, and you realize that Prismatone is the deity of characterization and soul.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Sammy is incredibly bothered by this because Prismatone, part of her domain is remaking souls after they've gone into the soup that is that primordial energy where souls go. I can't currently remember how exactly Whirl had described everything, but basically Prismatone will gather up energy and then remake the soul and send it out into the world.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
that sure is a thing, and it's just Hugh is rather disturbed by the thought of using magic to carve out, well, using a soul to fuel magic, because that's the yeah.
mhm.
And this is Sammy via being a cleric of Prismatone.
Yep.
That must be even worse.
Yep, and you get the distinct impression that Sammy knew the condition, what the condition was, and exactly what could happen to a person, to a Toon, doing that to themselves. And he saw it go down exactly how he knew it could go.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna squeeze Sammy a bit more, cause oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
there's there's not really much you can say to all of this, but he's here and he's listening, Sammy.
Mm-hmm. And Sammy just kind of he, he he again he's like kind of leaning into the squeeze and stuff, and he just is like, she's stable in the hospital now. But
Oh man, do you want to roll insight on Hugh? Just
yeah,
just a small one.
oh, dirty 20,
Oh,
dirty
there you
20.
go. Yeah, Hugh is surprised, actually pleasantly so, because he thought that let's see, Gil's sister, was it?
Mm-hmm, Gil's
He
sister.
thought, yeah, he thought that she would have died from that
Uh,
because
yeah.
because Hugh does not know, like Hugh barely knows anything about this magic, but this type of magic really, but magic that tends to mess with souls is the very powerful type.
Mm-hmm.
And if you mess that up,
Yeah.
it'll mess you up. Even
Sammy,
just fiddling with that kind of thing,
yeah,
it's a bad idea.
yeah. Uh,
Unless you're desperate, in which
Sammy,
case, well,
Sammy's eyes kind of, they slightly crinkle, but this is your friend. You don't even need a like an insight roll to this. He's not smiling in a happy way, and he's like, yeah, the condition that this type of spell causes, it it was turning her to her base ink hue. She
oh,
was degrading in front of our eyes because she kept using the spell and pushing past her limits. It We were able to stabilize her so she didn't turn into ink completely, but it was bad. She didn't recognize Gil by the end. Still
oh,
doesn't recognize him. It There can be a way to fix her, to get her to be not so degraded, I guess you could say, but it's it's bad. Hugh, she's not going to live as long as a normal Toon would.
oh.
She can still have a pretty good quality of life if we can just find this one damn thing, but it's gonna take a
So that's
bit.
it. Yeah, it's what is it? Is it anything I can keep an eye out for?
I Hugh, the people who made this spell, they're not the savory type, if you get my meaning.
So
They're,
he's just like, so it's an item someone has, and it's the bad sort of okay.
yeah. And Sammy just kind of, he takes an arm away from his knees and just kind of wraps it around you, Hugh, and kind of gives you a squeeze. And he's like, I don't want you going out to those places, the places where more villainous tunes are more likely to be. Toontown's great,
Yeah.
but it's not safe sometimes.
Yeah. Well. Well, I'll keep that in mind then, but I guess I was just thinking if it's, say, like a type of flower or a plant where you can find. If it's something like that, I mean.
Sammy kind of laughs and is like, I wish it was a flower. It's a device. It a decanter type thing. She was supposed to have it with her, but she didn't. And we're gonna hopefully find the people responsible who gave her the damn spell, but
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna take a bit.
And Hugh nods at that. It's I already got I'm already settled down here, and Hugh is like quiet for a moment, and you can kind of see him thinking, I've certainly seen a fair amount already, so.
Sammy kind of just
So.
laughs at that because, oh boy, Toontown. So much happens in Toontown.
It's like, you know what happened the other day? Just, March, so like March and I like to read together, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
March found a book at, there's this antique store. I like it because I managed to get myself a wooden sword there. Anyways, March found a book there. Like, apparently the old lady working there gave it to him, but, he brought it home and it was a magic storybook. It was weird, and like March, Decimal, Rez, who's my neighbor. They're really nice.
Oh,
Uh,
you know Rez?
yes, I do. Do you know them?
Yeah, I actually helped get their kid ended up getting lost when they first moved here, so I helped them. I helped reunite them.
Oh, okay, man. I'm really glad. Like, thanks. It's well, Rez helped me get me home one time, and I helped them find their new apartment. So, well, we like to chat up every now and again, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
we visit each other.
I'm glad that you guys are friends.
Yeah. And it's like Decimal ended up visiting, and if you want to roll me insight on that, you can.
we're gonna, we're gonna. That's an 18.
18. Yeah, and I'll just say that you see this. He was an open book, anyways. This Decimal person, whoever they are, seems like they're prone to getting into trouble. And Hugh has a look on his face because the dude tried to jump out of a window when hurt. Hugh is not gonna be letting Decimal forget this anytime soon, let me tell you.
There's just like this dot, 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 and then just there's like just a sweat drop.
He sure knows a bunch of people, doesn't he?
Yeah, and just like it's also just like Sammy kind of quietly sweating.
It's like, what on earth has my younger friend been dragged into?
And also just Hugh, please don't turn that on me.
Oh my goodness. Um, and Hugh then continues it. Like it was an adventure. It was like we were trapped in the storybook, but we escaped and things were okay. Don't worry. You can roll me insight on that as well.
Okay, let's see if Sammy's able to parse what. Oh, a 19 dice parser's being nice to me right
19.
now.
Yeah, so Hugh considers it fine, personally, but also you get the distinct feeling that Hugh may have been in a couple of big fights. He may have almost gotten kidnapped again. Don't worry, he was fine. Everyone else got him back. But
Just Sammy kind of just
it's
stares. And then there's the very distinct impression of an eyebrow raise.
it really was fine. Sure, we fought a dragon, but like we beat
You
it up,
fought a
okay?
dragon?
They sure did, and like Hugh nods, and it's like, yeah, I got this really weird crystal out of it, but well, we're back now. I mean, the time after that was nice, and Hugh is like genuinely happy at the thought of like I guess it was dinner they had anyway. There were good times.
Sammy just kind of reaches over and pats Hugh on the shoulder and is just like, wow, the plot really found you recently, huh?
Hugh kind of looks at Sammy with a question mark and the plot.
Yeah, all the crazy things that happened to us Toons, the plot.
Hugh actually does not, and you can probably see that on his face. And you probably see on his face too that it's like, I don't know, I just go out on walks sometimes and things happen. Isn't that how it always? I mean, that's how it always is for me.
Like Sammy just kind of like is like, I don't know how to explain this. This is just kind of one of those things I know. Like I label all the crazy things that happen to me as plot and then try and move on with my life.
He's confuzzled, but he's like, okay. He was like, he doesn't go looking for trouble and chaos, but it comes for him anyways.
I'm sorry, all that popped into my head was just that one meme with Professor McGonagall, and it's like why is it whenever anything happens it's you three, and I'm just like, Hugh, that's Hugh.
Yes! He was drunk or anything, he's just vibing, but it's like in the words of RJ the other day, deities and their penchant for picking up Hugh.
Yes, yes. Any deity that takes like one good look at Hugh holds him up. I just think he's neat.
Exactly it. I'm like trying to think how many deities does Hugh know by now. I'll include demi deities in this, so there's at least no, there's at least 7 at the moment that he knows. He is outright friends with 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That and actually no, that would be 4 of them. And he has met. Well, actually, he knows 8, though he isn't aware that the last one is a deity.
Mm-hmm.
And there is. What else is there? He may possibly meet more in the future. There's a really good chance he'll meet more in the future, at least 2, possibly 3. um,
Bless.
I'm I'm not even counting this properly. I'm just going off of memories. So, Hugh and his penchant for just being picked up by the deities, I guess.
Hugh, I love you, you good bean.
He's just vibing, man. Oh, Hugh doesn't say this, but like, I don't know, does Sammy want to do like a vibe check on this vague feeling? That's Prisma point him towards it. You
What does
get
a
the
12?
distinct, um, you get the distinct feeling that Hugh just has a penchant for attracting unusual stuff.
Yeah, he just kind of pats you on the shoulder one more time and is just like, yep, that's a mood.
Yeah, yeah. But it's really funny how this turned out. Um, there's also like considering what's in Hugh's future, what on earth is gonna happen, man? But oh well, that's for then. In the present time, I think Hugh is like gonna, yeah, Hugh's good at hugging Sammy more, and like he is gonna say, well, I'll do my best to keep out of trouble, but if you need me to research something, just ask, okay? I'll do my best to go through the books.
I really appreciate that, Hugh. I'm. You already know that I'm not going to be around here for a bit. I just.
Yeah,
I.
I'll be sure to tell March, okay?
Mm-hmm. I. I am gonna send you guys letters and stuff. I just. You know about Sinclair. He's still out there. Hugh. And I'm scared that every time I walk around a corner that he's gonna be there.
Okay. But, can you travel with somebody else? Is that an option? Because 2 heads are better than 1, aren't they? I know I'll be here, but you know a bunch of people, yeah? Is anyone else traveling?
Gil is, but
Yeah. Hugh just nods.
it just. I'm. Do you want to know where I'm actually planning on going?
Um, sure. I can send you a letter there.
uh,
he like gives a cheeky look. He's trying to cheer you up a little.
and he laughs at that a bit, and then he kind of gets up and he like, it's like, come on, actually, I could do you one better than just showing you. I mean, telling you. Why don't I show you?
Okay. He's like he's looking. He doesn't know what's happening, but he's very curious.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna roll survival just to see how long it takes them to travel through Toontown.
Oh boy.
Okay, with a nat 20,
Oh, dang!
it doesn't actually take you guys us this long. So Sammy takes
Somehow Sammy, makes good use of the train transition superpower that apparently Leffy has.
basically like the scene transitions, and you guys are at a teleportation station, and Sammy uh, pays for 2 tickets, and he kind of gestures his head for you to take a ticket, and then you guys are off to you guys use the transportation circle, and as you walk out, you realize that you're not in Giznep anymore. You're in Ghibli.
Hugh is looking really wide-eyed at all of this, cause hey, you know the only place he's ever really been in is Geese, and
Mm-hmm.
he's been around Toontown a bit. But that's
And
about it. Being to Ghibli is very big and very new, and Hugh is probably holding your hand at this point, Sammy, and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
close to you.
Yeah.
But you can see he's looking wide-eyed at
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah, if you want, go ahead and roll me perception.
Cool. Let's see how this goes. That's
Okay,
a 9.
with a
Hugh's a
9,
bit overwhelmed right now.
yeah, like you can kind of just you feel a breeze kind of waft gently in front of your face, and it has the scent of salt in it, and it's a cooler breeze than it was in Giznep. You're like, whoa, that's weird. And then your eyes turn from the teleportation circle as Sammy kind of leads you away from the incoming like the out of the way of oncoming traffic, basically, and you
Yeah.
see this gorgeously lined beach, white sand, glistening sea, and like the cry of the seabirds and everything, and you just go, whoa, that is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's Hugh very much has the starry eyes because this is the first time he's ever seen the sea.
hmm And Sammy kind of like his shading has shifted from that dark blue that's been kind of pretty consistent and is now more of a bright yellow as he looks at you, Hugh, and he just kind of grins and is like, there's actually fireworks display that's going to be happening tonight over here. This is Koichi. It honestly was one of the last places that Gil, I, and Chifley went to together, but I wanted to start here, and I'm gonna make my way around Ghibli and then other parts of Einquell.
This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That okay, it's honestly Hugh is just he is looking, he is excited, he is no thoughts head empty because wow.
And Sammy kind of just like, you can tell that he's grinning under his mask, and he kind of just like gently nudges you with his hip and is just like, do do you want to stay and watch the festival, the fireworks with me?
Hugh nods rapidly and is like, yes, please. I'd love to.
Yeah, and you
Just
can.
starry eyes, possibly going towards puppy eyes now because please.
And Sammy just kind of like, his shading goes from a deep golden to like rose edged with gold, and he's like, I was the one to suggest it. Why would I say no?
He's just I'm excited. It's polite to ask, okay? And he just turns around because he's embarrassed.
Sammy just kind of like gently hip checks him again, and it's just like, come on, let's go find snacks and stuff. So it's gonna be one of the Matsuri nights, festival stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can go find snacks. We can I know there's gonna be some stalls somewhere, so we can get some tasty food, and I'll make sure to get you
He,
home safe before March gets too worried.
yeah, it's like I think he like looks just like looks up to check the time and goes like a bit, and I think March is coming later today, like coming home later today as well.
Wasn't
Like
there
clean
some filming going on?
there was. It's just kind of finishing up. They're doing cleanup, but
Mm.
I yeah, March told me he'll be coming home a bit later, so should be like I'll probably need to leave after the fireworks, but should be fine.
Mhm. Yeah, like the fireworks is basically the last hurrah of the night, anyways. So it'll it'll be fun.
Yeah, and I want to say he was like thinking so festival, and he gets a light bulb, and
Mm-hmm.
he's and I guess if you want to roll me insight to see how much of this you catch, but he was like,
A
"This is what
19.
I can." Oh, Hugh's thoughts are literally, I could get something here for March and Decimal. Yes.
And Sammy kind of just grins at you, Hugh. Um, do me a favor. Do you want to do? Well, not do. Roll me one last final perception check.
Okay, let's go. Let's see how this goes. That's a nat
Okay,
20.
nat
Yes.
20. As you guys are going out about doing uh um your kind of just like
Souvenir shopping.
souvenir shopping, enjoying the festival, you kind of just from the corner of your eye, you kind of like just glimpse uh these sketchy outlines that are kind of trailing behind you. Um and it looks really familiar. It's similar to the figures that showed up when Sammy was really angry that one time.
uh, can like you take a better look or
With that nat 20, you can definitely look and stuff. Like I will say though, and like what catches your eye is instead of them being red, sketchy outlines, they are golden. And as you look back towards where Sammy is kind of just browsing one of the stalls, you notice that his shading is a bright gold.
no? Hugh wonders if that's like if perhaps that's some family who's uh just kind of vibing, or in
And
the sense that they're keeping an eye on Sammy.
and
I'm pretty sure Hugh has caught on by now that gold is for happiness. So
yep.
he
As
I guess he figures that like, maybe these spirits are at peace too. I hope they are.
as you kind of look, you kind of like actually look at them straight on. One of them kind of looks at you, and like they have kind of pointed ears. And it's interesting. They're all bald. They don't have hair.
Yeah, Hugh is just like a little bit confused, but he doesn't know how ghosts work. For all he knows, they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and like he has seen some things before. He's like, maybe this is a usage of disguise self, or it's like it's a protection thing. Hugh doesn't know.
But they look at you and they just kind of their sketchy outline like it they clearly kind of like give you a smile before you blink and they're gone.
Oh, yeah, I'd say Hugh would try to give a smile back before turning back to Sammy, probably, and trying to find more things to take a look at.
hmm And as a side note, with that nat 20, you realize that Sammy has no idea that these spirits are basically around him.
Huh,
Like he is completely oblivious.
huh. It's like, what would I'm now genuinely thinking, what would Hugh do with that? Cause like on one end he'd be like, huh, yeah, I guess Sammy does have someone looking over him. That's good. And I think I think he would just kind of say, "Hey, Sammy.
Hmm? Yeah.
Even if you might feel alone sometimes, you aren't okay."
Um, and like he kind of like reaches up and touches his holy symbol amulet, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm never alone." And with that nat 20, I'm just rolling, even though it's not insight. Uh, you you know you realize that he's thinking about Prismatone as he kind of is just like, yeah, yeah, I am never alone.
Like, I think he laughs a bit at that, and I don't think he's gonna say anymore. He's like, "You think there'd be that goldfishing game?" He's
Oh,
gonna try and like catch a goldfish to bring home to March.
yes. Roll me Dex.
Let's see how badly this goes. I really hope this works. We'll see though. 21!
Yep,
Yes!
you managed to catch a fish. You now have a little pet fish in kind of like an enchanted globe of water that's kind of serving as like your fish bowl and stuff. It's like it's basically a fish bowl, but with it being water.
That is very cool. And you know what? Hugh even has like a big fish tank at home because you remember Harold?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Harold now has a friend to vibe with. He's like gonna make sure the tank is good for a fish friend as well, but
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you guys now have a fish friend.
he is gifting fish friend to March when he gets back home.
Yep.
He was
Just.
like he was like, success. Now I wonder what Decimal would like, and he's like looking around.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of snacks. There's frick, I'm trying to think of more things that would have to be in a festival. Oh no, I didn't think
I'm
this
like,
far.
you're valid, honestly. I'm like, what would be in a festival? I bet there would be the fans.
Mm-hmm. There would be some fans. There'd probably be like paper umbrellas, really nice fancy ones.
I wonder if it's like, do you think there'd be some kind of cards or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I would say that there's like probably like a deck of cards that are like kind of like I have this like it's in decimals colors because yes, we're trading decimal.
Heck yeah, we are.
And like
Like
it's
I'm
like for
also points at Hugh. Of course, he's gonna try do something nice.
yep. And like it's like this really nice deck that's like really fancy and stuff. So like if Hugh wants to go ahead and get it, like yeah, it's gonna be
He
like
will
a
get
really
it. He
it's
can.
just a
He
really
even
nice
has a
fancy
little.
deck.
He's gonna get it, and it's like he even has a little bit of gold if he needs to pay for it. So
Like we can just hand wave that he does pay for it.
yeah.
And like Sammy is going to just he like kind of looks over, sees that you're buying a card deck, and he's actually going to go and buy a little box that matches the card deck, and kind of just hands it to you, Hugh, and it's just like, uh, for your friend, I yeah.
Hugh. Hugh has like happy face exclamation marks and thank you. And you know what? I'm gonna say for fun, yeah, Hugh has the happy flowers right now. Do you want to roll either a perception or an insight on that?
Nat 20!
Holy bleep! Okay, you see all of this. So here's the thing. You can tell that. So here's the thing. Yeah, these happy flowers, they appear to be white and red, and you can tell immediately that's white. It's March's kind of white.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not have met Decimal, but whoever this is, it seems like Hugh's close to him.
Yeah, the soft kind of rose edged, airbrushed with gold is back as Sammy kind of looks at you, Hugh, and he's just. And if you want to roll insight, you can roll insight.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I guess for us, the audience who do know, um, so yeah, white and red flowers, and they are indeed that red is indeed Decimal's shade of red. So ha ha ha. Oh man, 20.
With
We
that
take that.
dirty 20, Hugh, you realize that Sammy is feeling incredibly soft and fond over you right now. Like that's what rose airbrushed with gold means, is he's feeling incredibly affectionate right now, and it's all
Oh.
directed at you.
I think he's actually gonna go like he's gonna be shy at that because gonna be honest, he's not he's honestly not that used to this sort of thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? He's happy and he's really glad to be with you, Sammy.
Yeah, and Sammy's really happy to be with you, Hugh, as seen by his shading.
Yeah.
Like he's just like the sadness has completely gone. It's just I get to share some of my culture with my friend. Yay!
Valid, and he's just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
He is happy.
Yeah, and I feel like since we have now succeeded in getting souvenirs for both Decimal and March, it grows to evening, and the both of you go to a spot where you guys can actually see where the fireworks are going. And I'm just gonna really quickly roll a d20, not d20, a d10. He manages to pull out his handy dandy perfect picnic basket, and he sets
Oh
up
man.
a little picnic for the both of you guys, so you guys can like munch on dinner while you guys watch the fireworks.
Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna roll a d10 as well. And he manages to pull out some cookies that appear to be in the shape of kitty kibbles, but if you try one, dark chocolate.
Sammy like takes one, and he's just like blink, 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 glances at Hugh, pops one in his mouth. His shading goes sky blue because he wasn't expecting it to be chocolate.
It's like I got these in that weird storybook. They're neat, huh? And do you wanna roll me insight for fun?
14.
You know what? I'll say that catches it. Baby's first crime.
Sammy just like kind of.
Technically,
Sammy just kind of like he's like popping a few more
technically,
in his mouth,
Sammy.
and he just kind of goes.
Technically, Hugh stole these. Definitely not because of the influences around him. No, what are you talking about? Anyways,
Sammy just like there's just
they
this
were.
moment of Sammy wheezing.
For fun, I'll say Hugh isn't looking at Sammy at this moment. He's just looking around at the sights a bit.
Like Sammy's not gonna judge because hey, it's just food, it's just cookies. He's not gonna. He's been there. He's stolen food before. He's not gonna. He's not gonna go. Oh, you shouldn't steal food or get uncomfortable about stealing food. It's food is food. Food should not be hidden behind a paywall. In his opinion.
Sammy is valid.
So yeah, so like there's just like kind of like a very kind of like muffled by cookies snort that as Sammy connects several dots.
I'm it's for fun because you did get the freaking net 20 earlier. This decimal person, maybe he's the one responsible in part for this. You don't know. Maybe. It's a
There's
possibility.
Sammy's just like kind of very quietly going in the back of his head, going, maybe I need to find this decimal before I leave and just make sure that Hugh's going to be okay while I'm gone.
Yeah. Valid. Entirely valid. Hugh, meanwhile, just vibing with the happy flowers, just like, yeah, this is good. Entirely unaware of the shenanigans he's gonna be causing.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, just like you guys, there's just a very, very, very fun time being able to ooh and ah over the fireworks as you guys eat sandwiches and have lemonade and like you guys eat cookies for dessert. It's really good. It's really fun. And Sammy is the 2 tickets that Sammy got for the both of you are round trip. So you guys are able to.
Okay, that's good.
Sorry, I have hiccups. You guys are able to show the station master, hey, we'd like to go home now. So you guys head home, and like after packing up and everything, and Sammy walks you to your door, Hugh.
Think at that, Hugh is going to give Sammy another hug and thanks for showing me Koichi, okay? And safe travels. Don't be a stranger, Ivor, yeah?
Yeah, I just need a break from Toontown. Honestly, there's so much that happens here, but I'm gonna come
Hugh
back.
just nods at that.
And he actually kind of gets down so he's eye level with you, Hugh, and he kind of takes your shoulders and he looks at you and he's serious and he's like, I'm going to come back. I promise.
Okay.
I
We'll be here waiting, okay?
I know that you probably overheard some concerning stuff while I was talking to Mom, but I promised that I would come back to Chifley and to Gil. And I promise you, Hugh, I'm gonna come back. I'm not leaving forever.
Okay. I'm glad to hear. Please be careful, okay?
I will. And Sammy kind of leans forward and bumps his forehead against yours, Hugh.
Well, first of all, you're picking one-shotting me, thanks. Um, Second of all, yeah, just a big hug right after that.
Yeah, Sammy's
And
definitely hugging you back. Like, it's an actual legit hug instead of like the one earlier at the beginning of the
heck yeah,
FPS. It's an actual legit hug.
as it should be.
Because he was genuine. He is planning on coming back. He just had to get all of his negative thoughts out before he left.
Yeah, no, that's entirely valid, and I'd say Hugh gets that. And it's why he isn't so worried, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like with this as well, he's just, like, saying, like, as well, if you ever need help, we're here.
I know. You guys have told me that I'm not alone. And yeah, I'm not. So. And he kind of just reaches over and like ruffles your hair before letting go.
Hugh definitely squeaks at that. And I feel like here's where we set off with Sammy walking off, and Hugh, well, Hugh would be waving.
Yeah, you kind of like as Sammy heads off, he does give a wave to Hugh, and then kind of turns the corner, and he's gone.
And that is that. I think at that, yeah, Hugh waves for just a little more, and then he closes the door, and he's going to set things up for the new fish friend he and March now have. And I think he's gonna settle down with a book and wait for March to come home.
And
I'm going to roll con to see whether Hugh falls asleep. Well, Hugh falls asleep while waiting for March. That was a 6.
Aww. I hold Hugh so soft.
And I hold Sammy very softly too.
And I just kind of feel like the camera kind of pans to Hugh's sleeping face, and then kind of does the little circle. Choo.
Yeah, it's like I'd say here's where things cut off. So
Yep. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this FPS.
goodness knows I did. It was amazing.
I also had fun. Alright, gonna say goodbye to our listeners. Goodbye!
Bye bye.